for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd just like to point out that there's still serious debate over whether or not the climate is warming. I think there's research out that shows we haven't had a significant increase in temperature in 18 years. So that's probably, Mr. Chairman, probably going to make me subject to some kind of government retribution or a trial or something.
To capture methane, and that is one of the reasons that we see this long-term decline.
And one of the reasons that we have such abundant supplies of natural gas now is because technology, is that correct?
That's correct.
And it continues to improve almost on a daily basis, is that correct?
Yes, it's really incredible if you consider that the rig count is down 70% over the last 2 years, and gas production is only down about 7%. That indicates that we're getting much more efficient in our ability to produce
Methane
natural
capture at the wellhead technology, that technology is increasing at a rapid rate. Is that also true?
Yes, it is, and most states do have